Hey, welcome back into Whoosh with me, Louie. We're doing a couple of things here. I'm joined by Rachel. And today we are discussing Captain America Brave New World because we just went and saw that. And yes, we did do it for Valentine's Day. So, let's take a look. Alright, so for me, the Marvel movies are really fun. They're an escape. Rachel, how would you describe the Marvel movies for you?
I have a love-hate relationship with the Marvel movies. I think some of them are really good, and then others I think are, what the hell am I watching?
Fair. I feel like, would you say since Endgame, you've had a harder time getting into a lot of the movies?
Yeah, I was actually thinking about how the last movie I was actually really excited for was Endgame. And even though I was excited about some characters in some movies, I just haven't wanted to see any of the movies that really came out. I just go to support you because you like them, but I don't really care for what's being produced sometimes.
Yeah, and I mean, just a quick roll call of movies since Endgame. We've had Deadpool and Wolverine, Shang-Chi, The Eternals, Black Widow.
Wait, is Shang-Chi before Endgame or after Endgame?
After Endgame. But I don't think you were excited for it. You just ended up loving the movie.
Yeah, okay. Because I was like, I need to retract that because I loved that movie.
But I don't think, if I remember, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I don't remember you being overly excited about the movie coming out, but after having seen it, now it's one of your favorites.
Well, we did like Kim's Convenience, so I could have been excited about it.
That's true. But I don't remember you being overly excited for it.
Probably not then.
But I was going to say, and there's some other good ones along the way, like Spider-Man No Way Home was probably the movie I've been most excited for since Endgame, just because it brought together every Spider-Man we've had in a live-action movie to this point. So we got Tobey, we got Andrew Garfield back, Tom Holland was in it, so and that for me was probably the biggest one because it just gave me that feeling of nostalgia and brought me back to being a kid again, and I thought that was great. Now, we've talked a lot about a lot of other things than what we said we were going to, which is Captain America Brave New World. So, do you want to give us your thoughts first?
First off, Anthony Mackie is amazing. Like, hands down, he is such a good actor. Mm-hmm. Hands down. Before I say anything. And
before we say anything, there are likely to be spoilers in here from what the movie actually has in it. Yeah. So, going forward, if you haven't seen it yet and you don't want things spoiled, I would turn this off and come back and watch again after. So, just a heads up, there will be spoilers.
Yeah, I love spoilers. I'm a big fan of spoilers, so I will always give a spoiler. I think Anthony Mackie was great. You put Sebastian Stan in anything, blah. I just didn't care for the movie. I just don't think it was needed in the moment. I just don't think the movie did anything at all. I don't think it added or took anything away. I just think it was not needed. I think sometimes Marvel just makes movies that aren't needed. Even though I like the actors, I like what they're doing. I just don't think it was needed. And there is probably some reason why it needs to come, and it's probably setting up for something else, and that's cool, but I just don't think we need it.
That's fair. I know for me personally, I thought it was a really fun movie, and I know that's kind of what I let off with before. It was fun. It was definitely more of a grounded adventure, even though they're obviously with having like a Hulk in the movie. It's hard to be grounded because Hulk is a very big character, both size-wise and gravity-wise, I feel like. But that doesn't mean the movie itself couldn't feel more grounded, more of a political kind of thriller, almost reminiscent of The Winter Soldier. But there were some really cool things about it that tied things back together. For once, we finally got...
Like Liv fucking Tyler. Yeah, spoiler.
Yeah, we
Liv fucking Tyler.
There is a Liv Tyler cameo at the end of the film, which I think is awesome. She also does do like a small voice cameo earlier in the film.
Cool.
That was really cool.
Literally.
It was cool. They did a good job tying back in Edward Norton's Hulk. And they've done a great job with that a lot recently. Bringing back Abomination and She-Hulk. Doing this with Thunderbolt Ross and bringing in Red Hulk. And having, spoiler, the main villain in the whole movie is the leader, Samuel Stearns. So that was really cool to see him come back, and they gave him a really weird, unique look. I thought was really cool. We did get to see the new Falcon, Joaquin Torres.
Han Solo did great.
Yep, Harrison Ford was a fantastic Thunderbolt Ross. I will say I completely understand why Rachel says that it wasn't needed.
And not because we're just married and you have to agree with me sometimes.
Yes, exactly. Not just because of that. But because it did do not a lot. I think if it's me and my personal takeaway is the point of the movie was to establish Anthony Mackie as the new Captain America in universe. And I think it did a good job of doing that.
And I don't think we needed it. I think it was enough. I think he was enough to be the new Captain America.
I kind of agree, because leading up to this, I did watch The Falcon and the Winter Soldier over again. And I think Anthony Mackie did a better job in that, establishing himself as Cap, than he did here. And I guess you could kind of say this was more of a continuation from that anyway, not an establishing moment for him. But if you haven't watched the show, this is your first chance of seeing Anthony Mackie as Cap, because unfortunately a lot of the Marvel shows, and I don't know if you agree with this or not, feel like you don't need to watch them to watch the movies. Except for WandaVision with Multiverse of Madness. That is one of the few exceptions, I feel like, to that rule. But you could skip The Falcon and the Winter Soldier and just watch Captain America Brave New World and feel like, oh, Steve gave him the shield at the end of Endgame, so he's just picking up that mantle and going with it now.
I disagree, because there's a character that you need from Winter Soldier to now. That's a big piece of what happened, unfortunately.
That's true. That is true. Isaiah Bradley is a big character. Such
a good character.
From The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, who is a big character in this movie. Props to him. Great actor, great character. So powerful throughout the whole movie. Absolutely loved him, and for some reason right now I'm blanking on the character's name, but I will insert that post-edit here. Absolutely phenomenal job. Absolutely cannot say it enough, and he was so good. I did like the Red Hulk part of it, and how it kind of came about with Samuel Stearns slowly poisoning him. Like with gamma radiation to get him to eventually boil over and become,
yeah, it wasn't like a fast change.
Yeah, it wasn't like something else did it. He didn't get like Banner's blood and do it to himself. It was something more against his will, which I thought was cool. That was a good little twist there. Giancarlo Esposito as
such a badass all the time.
The head of the Serpent Society was so good.
Such a badass.
So good. And him and Sam's fight in the junkyard was really, really cool. So, a lot of cool moments in the movie. Really fun. Something I would absolutely watch again. I give it an 8 out of 10. I don't know what your number grade is.
So, realistically, and not being petty, I would give it like a 7. Like a solid 7. But I'm going to give it a 5 on a Rachel scale, because they try to shoot a Hulk with bullets, and we've learned so many times before that you cannot shoot a Hulk with bullets. So we have all of Infinity Saga?
Yeah, we have the whole Infinity Saga.
And you tried to shoot Hulk like 20 times with bullets. Why are you going to shoot him again? So 5. Stop shooting the Hulk with bullets. It's not going to work. Just stop. You're wasting your resources.
It's true.
Like,
very true.
It just annoyed me. Like, I turned in the movie theater to you and I was like, are we not?
I mean, the good news is for Red Hulk, he can at least feel it and get stabbed. So,
like, I get as humans,
cool.
Humans are dumb, but I thought, like, in a universe where we've had 3 Hulks,
it's true. But did anybody try to shoot She-Hulk?
No, because she didn't do anything illegal.
They did try to stab her with a needle.
Yeah, but I don't think she did anything to get, like, arrested.
That's true.
So, like, that just annoyed me for context. So, on a Rachel scale, 5. On an actual normal scale, like a solid 7.
That's fair. Yeah, I mean, I would definitely check it out if you like the Marvel movies. It's a fun one. And there is a slight connection to some things. You okay?
Yeah.
Okay. There is a slight connection back to some things with the end credit scene, which I am starting to despise these end credit scenes. I don't mind mid-credit, but literally end credit where you have to sit through the fancy credits and then the roll credits.
Oh,
like
but
10 minutes later.
The end credit wasn't that even good though, because it's already coming.
Yeah.
So like something's already being set up in the future. So like the end credit was just like, oh, beware of the future.
Yeah, like it's definitely leaning towards secret wars and incursions and having to fight other heroes from other universes. And that's kind of the whole thing he's setting up there. Something cool that I didn't realize, and I know that you haven't watched it yet, is in the new Rockstars breakdown of the Easter eggs from Brave New World, there's somebody reading a book in the background, and their speculation is that it might be Baron Zemo, who I know you love.
I asked you that. I said there was someone in the cell laying down.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I wonder... I just thought it was the bad guy from the thing, from the movie, but...
They think it might be Baron Zemo, which I think is great, because having rewatched The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Daniel Bruhl, I believe is his name, fantastic.
I just think that Marvel needs to just do better. I think they need to stop just producing and producing and producing, and just give us like a solid movie a year. Like, I don't feel like this movie was necessary. I don't think this movie was necessary. I don't think the Marvels was necessary. I don't think Eternals was necessary.
Well, Eternals was now, based on this movie.
Well, now, but like...
Because I think the one big thing we didn't talk about was Celestial Island, and the fact that it is now the source of adamantium in the MCU.
Yeah. I just think Marvel needs to calm down with, like, doing 5 movies and 5 TV shows. Like, just...
And I think the good news is they've come out and said that. They really rolled back their releases because of... I think they could sense the fatigue. Because even as somebody who loves the MCU, talks about it here on the channel, talks about it on... the Comic Council podcast. Like, I do all of those content things, and it's still exhausting to me.
Do you think it's fatigue, or do you think it's shitty writing, though? Because,
both.
like, if they...
The answer is both.
Okay. All right, cool.
I genuinely think the answer is both, because part of the problem with them producing TV shows is they weren't producing them as TV shows. They were producing them as movies.
But if they're bangers, you don't care.
Yes.
So, like, WandaVision, banger.
Yes, but how many of the TV shows have such a really good build... and then you get to the end, and the end sucks.
Oh, I can't remember any.
But that's because you haven't really watched a lot of them, because the earlier ones let you down a little bit.
I mean, I didn't watch Secret Invasion.
Yep.
Because that was stupid.
Had a hell of a letdown of an ending. Moon Knight. Moon Knight had a little bit of a letdown of an ending.
Moon Knight was solid, good.
But the ending... There was a third personality you never got to see for the whole season. A little bit of a letdown. Miss Marvel was pretty good all the way through.
Banger.
But that felt more like a sitcom. She-Hulk was more of a sitcom, and
Banger.
But even that went a little off the rails because we talked about like the Kevin and the fourth wall break. Fourth wall breaking great in She-Hulk. Yeah. Popping out into the Disney Plus menu, a little much.
Yeah, because we're rewatching it right now.
Yeah.
And it's not bad. It's just
like that one was rough. Trying to think what else. Loki got a little bizarre in season 2. Season 1 was fantastic though. Although to be fair to Loki, a lot of the stuff with characters outside their control impacted the show. So I just think they didn't have a coherent plan for producing TV and movies at the same time, because like they did Secret Invasion, which should have tied directly into the Marvels, and then the only directive the director of Secret Invasion got was Samuel Jackson needs to be back on a plane at the end, back on a spaceship, and he can't die.
Yeah. I kind of want to take them a year. Like, I want them to not produce anything for a year. Like I do. I want them to cold turkey for a year and see how.
Well, do you think we got that last year, though? We got a couple of TV shows, but not a lot. And we only got one MCU movie.
I see. That does not.
And that was only Deadpool and Wolverine, which wasn't really... It was MCU adjacent more than it was MCU.
I don't know, because I feel like there's always something MCU playing in this house that I can't tell you. Like
that's my fault.
Like
that's not them. That's me.
Like I feel like I go on and there's always something new on MCU you're playing, so I don't know the timeline.
That's true. I mean, I'm a little behind on some things. Like I gotta watch What If still. But
was X-Men 87 then?
Oh, X-Men 97 is not MCU.
Oh, 87. Sure. Yeah, the 80s. Why not?
Yeah, no, 97. So good though. It's so good. I know you haven't watched it. I know we're still planning to watch like the whole animated series right up to it and stuff, but it's so good.
Yeah.
So good. So they can produce good stuff. It's just like you said, they have to take their time. And they have to be okay with taking their time. And I think we're heading more in that direction, hopefully.
So what?
And I say that with, like, the fact that I'm pretty sure Fantastic Four was filmed, edited, and released in like a year and a half.
Oh, I'm excited for Thunderbolts.
Thunderbolts
That's
looks
what I'm
good.
excited about.
Thunderbolts looks good.
I'm excited for some Sebastian Stan, Alexei, Yelena.
Fantastic Four First Steps actually looks really good.
I don't care about that one. I'm good. I'm good.
You said it looks pretty good for the retro.
Pedro
feel.
Pascal. That's Zaddy. Yes. Yes. Give me Pedro Pascal in anything. But...
Well, I mean, my next question was going to be what's the MCU project you're most looking forward to? And I guess that's Thunderbolts. So,
yeah.
I mean, to be fair, you put Alexei, you put Bucky, put Yelena in there. Like
that's fine.
The rest of them are throw-in characters. Those three being in there are going to be golden.
That was just a conflict, like a contract. Like, oh, we owe them 2 movies. Like, check.
Kind of. It looks so good though. If you haven't seen it, go.
And the Wheaties box at the theater was really cool.
There is a Wheaties box. You can see a picture of me next to the Wheaties box on the Whoosh Instagram. If you haven't followed it yet, the link is in the description below. Please go give it a follow. But I think we're running a little on the longer side. So, do you have any final thoughts on Captain America: Brave New World?
Yeah, if you're up against a Hulk, don't shoot it with a gun.
That's solid advice. That is solid advice. For me, it's if you're up against a Hulk, maybe don't turn down the super serum. Who knows? But
You totally stole that from the movie.
But thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you here next time for a couple more things.
Peace.